Hi and welcome to Cheeky Richo's Honey Oat Bread. We're just toasting our oats in the Flavour Chef. You could just do this over the stove top or just pop it onto a tray in the oven if you like. And once it starts to release sort of a cooked porridge or cooked flour sort of flavour, we're just going to turn that off and allow those to cool. Now we have some all-purpose flour here, to which we are going to add our wholemeal flour. You see those little bits of wheat husk in there? And we're going to add our oats to that when they've cooled down a little bit. Oh, and we're going to add our salt to our flour mixture. To our warm water, we're just going to add our activated yeast, dry activated yeast, and our honey, and just leave that to sort of bloom a little bit for about 10 minutes or so. Stir. Use warm water, don't use hot water, you'll kill your yeast, and that'll get just a few little bubbles on the top of that within the next 10 minutes or so. Add our oats to our flour, give it a good mix around, and then it'll be ready to mix in the stand mixer. Now we've just added our oats to our other flours and salt. Just going to give this a bit of a mix around. You don't really need to do this, it's going to happen in the mixer anyway. I just like to have a look at the way it's looking. Okay, after a few minutes you can see it's got a bit frothy on top there. We're just going to pop it straight in with our mixture and turn it on a low speed until it's well combined. And continue to mix it until it comes away from the sides. Okay, now it's completely unstuck itself from the bowl. Take the beater out. And it should come out quite easily. Not too much stuff stuck to it. Now we just drizzle a little bit of oil around the inside of the bowl. Just moisten your hands with the oil. Turn it all over so that it's not stuck. Cover it with some Glad wrap. Put it in a warm place and allow it to double in size. Now, if you live in a cold climate, you can either pop it into the oven with the oven light on, if your oven has that function. You could also put it on the front seat of your car parked in the sun. But don't do that if you live in a really hot place, because it'll start cooking in your car. Okay, the Glad wrap over the top of that now. You could use a damp towel. Now we put that to one side to double in size. About an hour, hour and a half. Okay, after an hour and a half, this has sort of got away on me a little bit. You can see it's like trebled in size. We're just going to punch it down and try and get it into one pan. If that won't work, it's going into two. Just punch it down, bring it away from the sides, and we're just going to knead it into shape. That's massive. No, it's going to have to go into two pans. Just roll it around itself and put it into one pan, because it's got to rise again, you see. It's pretty big. Actually, I might make this into bread rolls. That's what I'll do. Okay, don't use a sharp knife to cut on your silicone mat because you'll compromise its surface. So we're just going to break this into three. It's not sticky at all, which is very good. And just sort of mold them around on themselves like so. Sort of pinch them and sit them onto a baking tray. I love this part. It's got a gorgeous yeasty smell. And oats. Don't forget the oats. Toasted oats. I'm going to bake it like that, and when I go to serve it, I'm going to pop a little blob of camembert in there and warm it up again, and that'll be absolutely gorgeous. So we just let these rise again in a warm place till they double in size. It'll come just to the top of the tin there, and then we're going to bake it. Now I've just covered both of these pans again. This one here I've sprayed with a little bit of canola oil, and it will release nicely instead of sticking and pulling the tops off these little buns. Okay, here's our bread rolls. They've doubled in size. They're looking particularly gorgeous, and we're just going to pop them straight into the oven. Okay, 20 minutes later, this is what you should have. So see if you can hear. They're quite hollow sounding when you tap them. Okay, now I've just got a little piece of camembert here. I've trimmed it right down to fit into a little pate pot. I'm just going to pop that into the center there. Slash the top of it. This is still quite warm. Just spread it open a little bit. Drizzle in some honey, and we've got a couple of rosemary sprigs here. And this is going to be divine. You break off chunks of the bread and have it with your roasted camembert. So just let that drizzle right through. They're soft and warm and gooey in the oven, and then you just scoop it out with a pate knife. And tell me that isn't easy entertaining. Just a teaspoon, the honey, the rosemary, the cheese. Oh, it's going to be gorgeous. Serve it with a little bit of homemade butter if you like. And we're just going to pop that back into the oven to make that cheese nice and gooey. Light, fluffy, tasty, crisp crust, full of fibre, tastes delightful. Thanks for watching. 30 minutes later, okay, this is my honey oat loaf of bread. Knock it and it sounds hollow. Just pop it out of the tin. lovely and brown all over, and we're just going to let that cool before we slice it, which is going to be a bit of a battle because Richo loves fresh bread. That is absolutely delicious, lovely and soft. The grain is mixed all the way through it. I'll just let that sink in for a while. That is a gorgeous slice of bread. Thanks for watching.